Welcome to the Health Shift Revolution podcast, an essential part of Bakersfield, California's premier holistic health network, featuring Roland Brown and Bobby Perrine, two surprisingly different guys on the same path with the knowledge, experience, and no-nonsense approach to help you navigate your way to finding your path to holistic health. We are so glad you stopped by. Take a few minutes, slow down, and you just may discover your goals are closer than you think. Take it away, guys. All right. 3, 2, 1, and we are live.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Health Shift Revolution. My name's Roland Brown, and I'd like to welcome my partner in crime, Mr. Bobby Perrine. Hey, we're here for you this morning, and we just want to talk about health and fitness and taking better care of our lives through physical wellness.
Definitely. How you doing this morning, man?
I am great, Bobby. How are you this morning?
Well, it is Veterans Day, and I rolled out of bed and did my 101st straight workout, bro. 101.
Nice. Very, 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 very good. Yes. Well, I rolled out of bed today and I led some other folks through their workout today.
That's just as good, bro. That's just as good, man.
Yes,
yours is coming up later, right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So, right, man. Happy Veterans Day to you, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your service. Yes. I always said I'm a veteran by proxy. My first 19 years of life were spent, as a son of an Air Force veteran. And so spent all my time on military bases for most of my life and grew up jumping around, following Dad, obviously going where he had to go.
My first wife and the mother of my children was an Air Force brat. So I know that life. I've heard many horror stories about
same
Germany.
Branch of service. Amen. Same branch of service. It's funny because we were in, there are two divisions, the Strategic Air Command and Tactical Air Command. So one is over in Europe and we were over on the Asia side. So I spent time. In fact, I started school in Tokyo, Japan.
Nice.
Yeah. Tactical Air Force Base.
Right on, brother.
It's pretty cool.
You're a worldwide kid. I like
Amen.
that.
I like it too.
Like that. Right on.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there as well today. It's great.
Yeah. Thank you guys for your service and you gals. I appreciate it.
Amen.
I mean, I did what I had to do. I did because of my family. So I think third or fourth generation. So.
Right.
But you know what? The buck stops with me, man. No more.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So what are we talking about today?
Yeah.
Well,
the what's on your mind?
The stuff you sent me, man. The stuff you sent me. How we're failing. It's like a total failure of the American population to work out, even to get a little bit of exercise. 75% of us are failing.
Yeah.
And that statistic right there it correlates with how many people in the United States are overweight or obese, up to 70% of us. So the exercise, diet, and obesity all in the same realm here. We need to talk about that a little bit. And always respectfully and always encouraging. But I went through a long period of time when I first got, in shape myself, where I was just,
militant.
Yeah.
Militant. Yeah. I understand.
There you go.
Yeah. It's like ex-smokers, it's like everything else. You don't know how bad it feels until after you stop,
Well, you don't know how bad you smell until after you stop. Yeah.
There are a lot of things like that you find out after you stop. Well, on the flip side of that, we've got a lot of people who are making big changes in their lives, and it's what I've noticed is some of the celebrities and folks like that who are who've dropped weight, and these I think of Adele, I think of Rebel Wilson, and then and the young lady said to you the other day, from hairspray, and things like that,
Yeah.
150 pounds and changing. And a lot of the impetus came because of the impact of COVID and that downtime that they had. And all of a sudden it's like, and I love how many have all stated it's their health journey. And I
Yeah.
think part of the reality is that we've got to emphasize and we have to really get people to accept the fact that it's an issue of health, not an issue of acceptance, not an issue of identity, not an issue of personal validation or any of those kind of things.
Right.
So we've come to a culture where the idea of appearance and validation and things like that have been kind of attached to everything. And so there's this need. We all have a human drive for esteem and acceptance, but there is also the need for the recognition of truth. We can't
Right.
have acceptance without truth. And
Right.
the truth
I agree.
is, if we were to say to people, what's the best way to live your unhealthiest life? How many people would sign up for that? If we
Well,
had a
it's the easy
podcast,
way.
well, it's funny. It's not the easy way, in the real sense. And what I mean by that, it's it's the thing that's the top of everybody's mind, regardless of what they, how lifestyle they live. But when you sit down, there's nowhere I can go where when I announce or when I say or when the conversation turns to the fact that I am in physical fitness as a professional,
Sure.
that it does not immediately turn to, well, what can I do about this, or how can I do this? What about this? And it is inevitable that every conversation I have at some point somewhere turns to someone's physical health and their
Yeah.
wellness and their and it's like, I need to lose this or my belly this or every conversation. I've never been anywhere, party, event, et cetera, et cetera. I was just at my high school reunion a couple of months ago, 50th high school reunion. Where did the conversation turn? As soon as, what have you been doing? Well, this is what I do. Wow, well, I need this information. And that to me is indicative of what the problem we have. As we saw, people just don't know what to do, even though everything there is to know is out there.
Right. Well, they don't want to look. That's the thing. They don't want the truth is that it's like one of my personal heroes, David Goggins, says, choose your heart, man. It's a hard life to live like I live, which is pull-ups every morning and running and doing the things and swimming and doing all the things I do. It's also a hard life to live sick constantly. It is hard.
And yes, and that's kind of the thing. It's this growing desire. People. I think there's a growing need and recognition that you can stay alive for a long time,
Yep.
but not live.
Right. Right.
So encouraging people to live your best life starting from right now is what's exciting to me. I'm watching this slowly break through, and we're seeing these folks says, I've got all of this success, but I don't feel good.
Right.
My life
Right.
is, looks good on paper. It looks good out there in the world, but I don't feel good. I'm not, and emphasizing, and when people emphasize that, then I believe it takes the stigma away from this idea that there's something wrong with you or wrong with me if I can't do this. When it becomes an accessible reality. I think the young woman who we were just talking about just recently started with 30-minute a day walking, and then
Yeah.
the 30
Yeah.
minute a day walking turned to an hour a day. It is about beginning the process. And
It's
also
about starting.
it's about a lifelong process, recognizing that this is not something you're doing for today or tomorrow.
Right. It's
This is
that
for
it's
all
that
your
thing that
today,
I talk
all
about
your
all the
tomorrows.
time.
It's that thing that I tell everybody. It's it's not just a shift in activity. It's a shift in the way you think about it. It's a
Right.
shift. It's a health shift. It's you take your life. I am very and I'm very grateful, and I know it sounds crazy, but I'm very grateful for the transition that I went through in the last 10 years, where I made the decision and then my attitude changed, and my attitude towards people changed, and now I've softened my stance. And I went through that long period of time where people were like, "How'd you do that?" I'm like, "I don't even want to talk about it, because what you're going to do is you're going to balk at it, and why should I waste my time telling you?"
Right.
When I tell you I get up at such and such a time, I eat such and such a way, there's these things that I have done that I've shifted my life over, and it was always the, like you said, the conversation always turned to, "Wow, you look really good. How'd you do that?" And then you tell them, and they're like, "Oh, I can't do that." so,
Yes.
so I went through this long period of time where I just stopped talking about it, and then I realized, and even recently talking to you, I realized how to soften my stance and say, well, I do a lot of things, but you know what? It's like a 30-foot ladder. I don't leap to the top of the ladder. I go one rung at a time until I get there.
Right.
And
Right.
most people are not going to go to the top of the ladder like I've done. And I get that. And you know what? That just makes, and please don't, everyone listening, please don't take it wrong, but that makes me a leader. That
Yeah.
makes me, I've got away from going to where I was to where I am. And there's a lot in between there that you can stop at any point, but you're better off than where you started.
And that's exactly what becomes important as we progress here. You've become a fitness enthusiast,
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
and that is different than fitness essentials. And so
There
when
you
we
go.
when
True.
we're encouraging people to do the essentials, I think we talked about it last time, doing what we're doing the essentials, and so that as we're saying, okay, well, how do you move forward? And I think a lot of this stuff, we there's an article today about in fact, it's in Bakersfield Magazine. I just picked this up, the men's issue of Bakersfield Magazine here.
All right.
Do a little promotion, but in this men's fitness, and they've got this article about how social media amplifies fads and trends that are overshadowing qualified advice. And so what we talked about is how you look on social media and you see everybody doing all of these routines and stuff like that, and everybody has a different routine, but there's no specific information about how that applies to me. So you tell someone what you do, then you're exactly right. You tell me what you do, and I look at it and I go, man, I'm not doing that. Okay. And it's not because I can't,
Right.
it's just that's I don't want to invest that kind of time in it. Okay.
That's not your
So
jam. That's the
that's
way
not
you
my
look
jam.
at it, right?
Exactly. I said that's what you do now for fun. Okay. Or
Yes.
and that's your recreation in a sense. But for me, I know exactly what to teach somebody to do for them. And then
Right.
when you start with that, it's like, this is what I do now. But what I started with was, uh, getting up off the couch 10 times, as you start talking about that, I
Oh,
started with
yeah.
this. This is what when people are coming to you, this is like, brother, I'm in this shape now because I've been doing this for a long time. I've got 7 years invested. You tell them you got 7, you got 8 years invested in this.
Mhm.
When somebody comes to me, I want to, man, what do you do to get in shape? I say, what do you do to exercise? Well, nothing that you can do right now because
Not
that's not where you are. So it doesn't matter what I do, and it's
okay.
so
That's a great
important.
point.
It doesn't
That's a
matter what
great
I
point.
do. Yeah, but because people don't hire me for what I do. They hire me for what I can help them do. And everybody is a beginner, no matter what level they're starting at. At some point, they're learning to do something new.
Right.
Professional athletes learn every day to do one thing new, as they were talking about getting 1% better. Well, they're excellent is a matter of incremental processes. And so, what you do with people who are trying to get started is you show them this is the basic requirement right here. This is a simple. And I want people to learn that simple and routine is hugely important. If you just do the same basics over and over again, and you keep doing them over and over again, form follows function. You end up with a body that
You end up,
functions,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
I agree.
over and over and every year. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about. That's the kind of thing I'm excited about. Yeah.
Well, there's two
And
things here that while you were talking that I remembered. When my very first day was, I got up off the couch. I made this decision while I was watching TV, and I walked around behind the couch. I got a hold of the couch and I did 10 squats, and I was like, cool, that's enough, because that really hurt. And then the next day I couldn't sit down on the toilet from 10
right.
squats. Okay.
Yes.
And that told me right there, okay, these 10 squats, this is what I need to do. And that's all I need to do. I don't need to do 10 squats and 3 sets or any of that. And the funny thing
Exactly.
is, I started with 10 squats, and this morning I did 400. So
Right.
when I tell people, yeah, I that's a great point, Roland. Thank you. Because when people ask me what I do 400 squats, and they look at me like I'm insane. But I need to
Right.
tell them I started with 10. I
Exactly.
started with 10.
Exactly. And that's what happens with every fitness person, that I know, every fitness enthusiast I know is always, we're so excited about what the latest thing we did,
Yeah,
and things like that. And so, and we all tend to be prisoners of the moment. This is just kind of human nature. It's like who I am now is who you
sure.
need to know, not who I was. And one of the benefits of, like I said, of what I do, one of my greatest compliments, I was walking out of the studio with a client who was in his 60s, I think, at that time, and we were walking out of the studio one day, and he just pauses. We'd been together, about 6 months or so, and he said, and he just said, offhand, he said, "You know why I'm still with you?" And I said, mm, "No, I mean, I kind of assumed you just liked what we were doing." And I said, he said, "No,
Yeah.
it was our first workout." He said, "The first time we were together, you were taking me through some stuff, and and the sessions were booked for an hour, I think, at the time." And he said, "You looked at me, and 15 minutes into our workout, and you looked at me and you said, 'Okay, that's enough.'" And he said, "I knew right then that you were more concerned about me than you were about your program or whatever we were supposed to do or anything like that."
Yeah.
But a guy, one of the challenges sometimes is people, I always explain to them, you're paying for the session, you're not paying for an hour. Okay. The
Right.
session is whatever your body, whatever you can handle in a way that makes it safe and effective for you. And he looked at me and he said, "Man," he said, "that was it." He said, I knew you were cared more about me than anything else." And I thought, that has stuck with me all my life. And it was validation as well, because it's hard to tell somebody something, they think they're paying for something for, they're paying for time. And then you cut, 3/4 of the time out, but
Right.
I'm like, no, this is why you hired me. You hired me so that you would actually live till the next session. Or because, I can't do anything more with you if you can't do. So a guy comes in and he does the 10 squats, as you said, then
And
there's a
that's enough.
validation that says, you know what? Hey, that's enough for today. We can do this. I need you to be able to function in the rest of your life. And I need you to be able to know that this is progressive. Well, here we are, months later, he's doing stuff that, would never have been able to do. And we're doing, 50 minutes of high intensity work, and it's a
Right on.
completely different lifestyle he has. And
Yeah.
so that's the kind of reality that we want to do, and we're just not being, that message isn't getting out there enough with our even through the industry, through our fitness industry, that message of starting here and taking it one step at a time.
Well, I'm so part of the reason that I'm here with you and is because my Instagram, my social media, my Facebook, all that stuff is full of guitars and exercise. That's all my
Mhm.
ads because that's what I do.
Right.
So I'm tired of seeing this 20-year-old guy, you know, super muscular, hanging one arm from a pull-up bar while he's, doing curls with the other arm, telling me that, you can do this. It's like,
Yeah.
no, we can't. I mean, if I wanted to, I could, but there's no need to go that far, man. So and we're trying to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour in 3 days, and it's just not. It's detrimental to everybody. It sets everybody back, and what it does is it sconces that idea that I can't do that. Well,
Yes.
right. I can't do that either. I can climb a 50-foot rope to the top at Venice Beach. I can do things now that I never, ever imagined I would be able to do again. But it's just been this slow road of 5 to 7 years of staying with it and sticking with it and seeing how far I could go. And I emphasize again, when I tell people what I do, I want everybody to know, please, if it's just 10 squats, if it's just 15 minutes a day, please do it. If it's 30
Mhm.
minutes 3 times a week, do that. Anything you do, like Roland says, anything you do is going to help you. It's going to send you in a different direction than sitting on the couch watching TV eating potato chips. It's going to send you in a different life.
And as our well, let me back to what you were talking about Instagram. See, my Instagram feed, is the same kind of thing. I have some, lots of exercise things, lots of fitness things. However, my Instagram feed is perfect for me
Yeah,
because
exactly.
all of those guys doing all of those things, I look at those and go, "Oh man, that could be cool. I could try that. I'm going to do this. I can do this because fitness is my, it's my fun. Some of the stuff is
Right.
my fun time. So, but my body's capable of doing certain things, and so I look for challenges. It's just not designed to give people who have no foundation a foundation. That's what
Right.
so much of it is. Remember, I mean, we're not looking at these full routines and stuff like that. We're looking at people who are doing things that are great. I pick up some great little ideas that I'll put some of my clients through because I'll look at a couple of combinations. And I'm like, oh, that's neat. I'm looking for
Yeah.
different things, and it's because in implementation, it's inspirational for certain things and it inspires my imagination to do certain things, but it's not for the person who's just starting. It really is designed for people like us.
Right.
Those feeds, those folks are designed for people like us. But that's exactly what's happened with our industry. Our industry caters to those who do recreational fitness uh, as a
Right.
hobby or as a profession. It is
You know
really
that
geared to that.
that's really interesting because our algorithm didn't just build that overnight.
No,
That is years and years of what we're searching for and what we're looking for. And it goes along with my guitar playing. When I first started learning to play guitar, I tried to go to people and they would, okay, here's the scales. And they would play the scales really fast. And I'd be like, I don't know what you're doing.
right,
So then I ran into an old man and he was like, just learn a few chords and learn how to
exactly,
strum and everything will be fine. Well, now I'm doing finger picking. I'm doing all kinds of things. I've been playing for a
absolutely,
couple of years and it shows. But
yep,
as I've progressed, my Instagram has also progressed with me to the point where like, oh, I think I can figure that out. So
yes,
when I see the guy on the doing his push-ups and he's got one hand on the wall and doing the
yep,
push-ups like one-handed,
sure,
I'm thinking, oh, I could try that. And I tried it the other day and I did 10. I was like, okay, that's cool. But you're absolutely right. When when Mr. sitting on the couch has sees that, he's like, oh,
no,
no way,
no,
man.
no,
No
and
way.
and so
So
it's yeah, it's
we
important to begin to and find ways to tell adults. The biggest challenge with adults is we don't like to look bad doing things. We don't want to embarrass ourselves. And it's
Right.
very difficult for an adult. The biggest challenge for an adult is to say, I don't know. And we have that. It's just the nature. It's just the nature of adults. We have to be like little kids. You know, I have clients that get frustrated. You know, my people get frustrated because they can't execute a movement. You know,
Right.
as they're learning a movement that they've never done. You know, and I'm like, you've never done this. If I'm teaching you how to do something, I'm actually teaching you how to do something that you've never done. So be kind to yourself. It doesn't matter if you do it wrong, so to speak, the first time. That is what's expected.
Right.
But you're going to do it over and over again until you get it right. This is why we work on fundamentals over and over and over again. And as you learn to do something and you become more proficient at it, then in a couple of weeks, this is going to be a no-brainer and you're going to be able to do things. But
Yeah. Muscle
children,
memory is going to kick in.
and the repetition is going to kick in. We're not coming off of this until you master it. Okay. But children, what I love about kids, you see kids get together and one child does something. He does a somersault, or he does, a back roll over a flip or something. You name it. They do something. And then they go, can you do this? And they demonstrate it. And then their friend goes, oh, I want to try. And then they do that. And then next thing you know, you've got 2 or 3 kids who are tumbling and flipping around and trying to do this. And they work on it over and over and over again. You go to the skate park, you see kids working on this. They jump on a trick, they fall. They jump on a trick, they fall. And every time somebody falls, the others in the group are going, man, you almost got it. You just missed this. Yeah. There's all this encouragement that children give each other when they're trying to master something. And we forget that as elders. We forget to be our own cheerleaders. We forget to say to ourselves, hey, you know what? You got this done. Your 10 sit-ups or 10 squats, okay? You became your own cheerleader. You got 10 squats in and you went, wow, I did 10. And then you went, wisdom stepped in and said, that's all I can do.
That's enough.
I'm going to sit back down and I'm going to recover. Okay. But then I'm going to go and try it again. Okay. And so, but the next day, like you said, when you go back and try to sit on the commode, you go, okay, well, what you learned was, it's not that if I do 10 squats, I won't be able to comfortably sit on the commode. What you learned is I need to keep doing squats so that, because I didn't know what condition I was in. Okay. Right. And because only squats I was doing was over the commode. Now, all of a sudden you're going, oh, now I can squat more often. And guess what? And after you keep doing that. And so you start to incorporate these exercise movements into your physical reality, into your life. You go, this helps me do this. This corresponds to this I do. I reach and bend and I squat and pick up. The first time you bend over and grab something, and I hear this a lot, I reach over Roland, I reached over and I grabbed something, I stood up with, and I know, oh, my back. I didn't notice my back. It didn't hurt. Yeah. My back didn't bother me. I didn't, I reached up and grabbed something and I took this box off the shelf, by myself, and I'd have to ask for help, so as my female clients get upper body strength and, my guys, lose belly fat and start to be able to move better and bend over and, touch their toes and stuff like that and put on their shoes without having to, twist around and do contortions. Those are the kind of reality that we want to, that people have to take advantage of. They have to start, again, patting themselves on the back for the little victories.
Yeah, exactly. I think what people don't realize is that most people aren't judging you. You're judging yourself harshly.
Yes.
Okay. You don't look as dumb as you think you look. In fact, when you're trying, most people are looking at you thinking, I wish I had enough courage to try.
Yes. Yes. Bobby, that you said that was that's such an astute point. What do I hear? Uh, I don't go to the gym because I don't want all those people looking at me.
Right.
And
I hear
and I'm
that a
like,
lot.
and so and my first question when I've heard people say that, I said, what is it about you that makes you think that when you walk into the door, everybody's going to turn around and go, dang, you
Mm.
know? It's either are you so fine that people are going to stop what they're doing and watch you walk in. I said, there's a reason they have mirrors in the gym. The reason the mirrors in the gym is so that everybody in the gym can see themselves.
Right.
Everybody's looking forward. People aren't looking around to see if you belong there or not, or if you're in there or not, because everyone who's in the gym is focused on what they are doing there. And if
Right.
you walk in the door, uh, most people aren't going to, unless you're a celebrity, somebody recognizes or something like that. Nobody's looking for you. Nobody's looking at you. It
Right.
is
And
so
the only
important for us
time
to understand we're not the only ones. We're not paying attention.
Well, the only time when I was in the gym, and I was in the gym for a few years in this journey that I'm on, the only time that anyone ever really paid attention to me is when they wanted my help for a spot, or I needed a
Or
spot, or I
or
needed a
you were
little
in
help.
the or you were in the way.
Yeah,
That's,
exactly. And the
hey
only
man, you're hogging
people,
up the machine.
yeah, the only people that I ever really judged when I was in the gym, and I'll say this without hesitation, was when I saw the 300-pound man walk in or the 300-pound woman walk in, and I judged them like this: good for you. Good for you.
Yes, yeah,
I'm so
and,
happy that you're here. And that's something that those people don't realize. They think when they walk in that everyone's like, oh, look at what's walking in the door. Yeah, we are. Those people in the
mhm,
gym are usually the most positive people on the planet. And what you're
right,
going to get is welcome to the gym. If you need some help, I'll help you out.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's the years ago. It was a community. I
Yeah.
think we spend way too much time with headphones on in the gym now, and earbuds in and stuff like that. It was becoming a lot more isolated. It used to be community where
Yeah.
you really could talk to people and stuff like that, and they could actually hear you, or you realize that people aren't actually talking to you; they're talking to someone else on the phone while they're
On the
walking
phone.
around the workout. Yeah, exactly. Bluetooth drives me nuts. Yeah. So what'd you say? Yeah. Okay. Hi. Oh, sorry, my bad. But so we tend to isolate a lot now, and then and the routines on the phones and stuff like that. So I miss some of the natural camaraderie that came out of places like Goals and World when I in LA when I used to go down there and stuff like that. There's a
Yeah.
lot of that camaraderie you miss in the environment, and so it makes a difference in the big aerobics classes where you were all hanging out together and stuff like that, substitute with the treadmills and things. So the environment's changed. Most people are walking side by side, looking straight ahead, and
Right.
there's not as much interaction. So you don't always get the kind of communal support that you get by meeting a group of people that showed up around the same time as you did and got to know names and faces and stuff like that. So that part I do lament. Sometimes when I'm in the gym is regulars that you just don't see a lot of interaction.
Right.
And but
But
still,
there's still the
getting
camaraderie between healthy people because listen, man,
yes,
when that day when I'll never forget the day I looked up and you were standing in Albertsons looking at me. And I know
yeah,
both of us thought, hey, that old man's in shape.
there you go. Yeah, well, that's really funny. That is true. I was reading your shirt and it's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. It's
So the camaraderie is still there and it's the community's still here. And what we need to realize is we just need to start and we can
and
join that community because the community that I belong to now is we're all very open. We're all very kind. We're all helping each other out. We're supportive and empathetic and all the things that you really want in a friend is in the fitness community. And it's a beautiful thing. And all you have to do in order to join us is to get up and do 10 squats.
Yes.
That's it.
Or
That's it, man.
take a 30-minute walk.
There you go.
And you just begin that process and get get outside. And even if you're in the gym on a treadmill, get the 30-minute walk in. Start the process of making tomorrow a better day.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Start the process of making tomorrow a better day. Yeah. And all your tomorrow's a better day, because I have never lived the life that I'm living now. All the things, the depression and the anxiety and all the things that I went through for the years and years and years have just melted away. And I've become a completely different person, and I'm less judgmental of myself. I'm less judgmental of others. I'm more accepting. I'm kinder. I'm empathetic. I'm friendly. I'm open. I'm in Albertsons talking to people that I don't know. Yes. And I'm telling people to have a good day. So
exactly
what we need to do here, and we need to emphasize as we close for today, get up and get started. And it doesn't matter if it's 10 squats or a 30-minute walk or a 5-minute walk. Or if it's stand up off the couch 3 times during a commercial break. It's something to get to turn the key.
Take the long way from the couch to the refrigerator.
Exactly.
So, exactly. Yeah, take a long way. Add a few more steps. Don't cut across the kitchen. Go around through the back room. Just pick your spots, baby. Games. Pick your spots. You just
yeah, I play those games all the time. I was like, well,
absolutely.
I'll stand up 3 times and then I'll go to the bathroom.
Exactly. Get to this kitchen and do 10 squats off the counter before you open the fridge. It's like little things. Start putting play back into people's lives. That's one of the things we can do. We can put play back into our lives. I've one of the here's a simple tool, simple trick. And I have this with my clients. You want to watch something on TV, get yourself a little trampoline, or even stand up and just walk in place. But during the commercial, stand up and walk in place or run in place, and just do that during the commercial break. And then sit back down once the commercial's over. And every commercial break, stand up and do something physical. So do your interval TV training, interval TV watching. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Television intervals. That's what we'll call it. TV intervals.
All right. That's what we're doing today.
You got it. TV intervals.
Right. Have a good one, man.
Bobby, appreciate you, my friend. Y'all have a great day. Okay. God bless.
Wait. We gotta close out, man. We gotta tell people who we are.
Oh, well, I don't know how you want to shut it down, but you can shut it down any way you want. I open it up, you tell them goodbye.
All right, man. This has been the Health Shift Network. We are just 2 guys, raw, real, and just looking to make your life a little bit better. I'll see you next week, man.
You got it, Bobby. Take care, friend.
Later, Roland. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Roland and I are grateful for the time you spent with us today. If you liked it, subscribe, because we'll be back every week to offer up that rational and reasonable advice on discovering your individual path to holistic wellness. It's time you join the revolution. See you next week.